I've decided that I'm going to start pronouncing the B in subtle, but I'm going to do it so quietly that nobody notices. What's going on YouTube? With the Undaunted Celebration event right around the corner, we need to talk about all the best ways for you to farm it. Whether you're a returning player, an endgame player, or a brand new player, there are tons of different ways that you can maximize this event for rewards, including just rare resources and items, straight up gold, or if you want to maximize this opportunity to get things such as Undaunted Keys. There's lots of ways that you can utilize this event. And as always, we do super fast YouTube intro, so please hit the like and subscribe button. And now, let's talk about the Undaunted Celebration event. So from the 18th through the 30th, all of these passives are going to be active, and it's relatively straightforward. Double Undaunted Keys from all pledges, and a chance for an extra item set piece from the dungeon you've acquired your Undaunted rewards box from, meaning you run Fungal Grotto 1, well now you have an extra option to get an armor, weapon, or jewelry piece that also drops from Fungal Grotto 1. If you were to farm Fungal Grotto 2, or a different dungeon like City of Ash 1, you would then get the associated loot pool for that dungeon in the reward box. And reward boxes are going to be an important part of this conversation, but let us first talk about Undaunted Keys. It's a very essential currency for new, returning, and endgame players. Let's first talk about those double Undaunted Keys from the pledges. Now, the reason we're doing that is Undaunted Keys are not only a great way to obviously get monster shoulders, with really the only alternative way being to either roll one Undaunted Key for a random one, purchasing them as a curated one for 8 Undaunted Keys, or to hope and pray that it's inside the golden vendor. And unfortunately, we know how that goes. But some other things that have been added are skill styles. You have the chance to get monster styles as well with these Undaunted Keys. So they are a very good currency for everybody to stock up on. There's always going to be new dungeons with new shoulders to get. There's always going to be new skill styles coming out or other good rewards to get. So what should you do as a new returning endgame player when it comes to the double Undaunted Keys? So as you can see, there's the 3 individuals. We have Madge, Gilleron, and Urgalax. So all of these have different levels of tiers of the types of dungeons that they're pulling from. If you've never done Undaunted pledges before, it's very straightforward. The associated monster sets that they are able to give you for their shoulders associates to the random dungeons that they may give you per day. So for example, Urgalax only gives you DLC dungeons, which is why she gives you 8 Undaunted Keys during this event, because if you do it on Veteran Hard mode, you're probably doing something like Scale Caller Peak on hard mode, which means that that's going to be something that's, relatively difficult. But Madge and Gilleron are usually relatively easy and sometimes easily repeatable. So there's a couple tips that I'm going to, point out for you guys. The first one is that the pledges that you get throughout this week can be turned in on those days. So I picked up Fungal Grotto 1 as a pledge for the majority of my characters. Just keep an eye out for any dungeon pledge that's got a 1 in it. Pick it up across as many characters as you can. And then obviously too, when the day comes, you can turn in those quests and then get those Undaunted Keys. What's also really nice about this is it's going to be going on for a large 12-day period, meaning we're going to have the ability to get a lot of easy keys. It's hard to really explain to new players or even returning players like what are the easy dungeons, but any hard mode can be completed pretty much with any either Oaken Soul or crafted set build. If you're running anything that I would say is somewhat meta, even if it's using like crafted sets like Order's Wrath, which are still ridiculously good. Order's Wrath, Oaken Soul, you can complete any base game dungeon on hard mode. I would put my money on it. You don't have to have subclassing. You don't have to have any sort of DLC skill lines leveled up like Sigic Order. You can do those base game easily. You may be finding yourself running longer dungeons. For example, some of the 2s like City of Ash 2 are notoriously a little bit longer. So sometimes it's easier just to stick to those 1s, but there are obviously other ones that are base game dungeons like Blackheart, Haven, and other ones that are not necessarily difficult, not necessarily long, that you might want to keep an eye out for. It is a little bit tricky because there are so many dungeons. I would generally tell you to avoid doing the DLC Veteran Hard modes unless there's an associated dungeon that we're going to talk about next that's listed there. But even still, it's not worth the 8 Undaunted Keys. In the time period that you can do Fungal Grotto 1 across 10 characters, you can get 40 Undaunted Keys. So 10 characters, 40 Undaunted Keys. What's really nice about that too is that if you have the ability to do that, Fungal Grotto 1 only takes about, 5 minutes, I would say, on veteran. So 5 minutes, times 10, you're not even farming for an hour and you're getting 40 Undaunted Keys plus the reward boxes from completing the dungeon, which can have Undaunted Keys, plus the reward boxes from turning in the pledges, which can also have other rewards for them as well, making it a better use of your time. So really all of this to say, focus on dungeons that are lower in length, and then you'll be able to have a little bit more success. I did just check online for any resources that have the time periods of those dungeons. I did find some Reddit posts discussing it, so here you can see a quick list of all of the fast dungeons and some of the long dungeons, just to give you an idea of which ones you may want to keep an eye out for as they come up. Now, just because it's not fast nor long, it's probably somewhere in the middle, just to give you an idea as to how the replies and comments went. But this should give you an idea as to how long certain ones may take. Now, as we talk about the next things, it's just important to note that Undaunted reward boxes, how do they drop? And just a quick, obviously, the first dungeon you complete every day, that's your 2 event tickets. And if you're interested in which dungeon set you should be after, we actually covered that in yesterday's video. So this is focused just on the Juicer Magooser rewards. So Undaunted reward boxes, how they will work is every time you complete a dungeon, you get a reward box. That's important. Second thing is that the first one you get each day is a Goldie and Glorious reward boxes to encourage you to get at least 1 per day. That has a guaranteed chance to give you an opal weapon style. So very important to know that. And the subsequent boxes have a chance to give you the weapon styles. But what are some of the other things that you can get in these reward boxes? A whole bunch of good stuff. So the opal styles, the chance to drop the item from the dungeon in which it was acquired from. Again, if you want to know which sets you should target, if you're a PvE player, PvP player, solo, support, tank, check out yesterday's video. Some furnishings that actually sell for quite a good chunk of money. Motif pages from all dungeon styles that have been released. Undaunted Keys, Undaunted Plunder. Undaunted Plunder is just you sell it to gold to an NPC merchant and you just get some gold. So it's pretty much just gold. Repair kits, transmute crystals, riding lessons, and then gold. So you get Undaunted Plunder and then gold. So kind of funny there. But this is important because now we're going to talk about what you should farm to do this. And it's very easy. The answer is Fungal Grotto 1. You literally only have to kill 2 bosses to complete the dungeon. And if you farm it on normal, you can complete it in usually less than 5 minutes, even if you're brand new to it. And as you get into a good rhythm, I would say about 2.5 minutes is probably where you're going to be, depending on, load in times, people running through the dungeon, getting to the end, requeuing, etc. So it's a very fast dungeon. I will actually link in the comments below a speed run of it so you can see it, because I want to move on in this video to talk about some other things without this becoming too long, but it's very fast. And you can queue in, and then once you've queued into Fungal Grotto 1 on normal, because there's no benefit to farming it on veteran, unless you're completing the Undaunted pledge. That's the only time you would want to complete a dungeon on veteran, is if you're doing the Undaunted pledge. You could just do this on normal. You can queue in, you'll find a bunch of people farming it, and then usually you can just find a group of people doing it, even as a solo player. You just stick with them, keep farming it, keep getting these Juicer Magooser boxes, and you're going to be finding yourself a lot of really good rewards. Now, this is where a lot of people are like, Jake, we got a whole bunch of dungeons that we can farm, we got a whole lot of stuff to talk about, and yes, let us talk about the mask styles that can also drop during this event, because I think it's got a lot of people all amped up. They're bricked up. They're telling me, Jake, I need to go. Should I farm Dire Frost, Imperial City Prison? Should I go to White Rust Sewers too? What do I do? Well, here's the thing. I'm just going to tell you this. It's going to be slightly disappointing. The majority of these items are not worth that much money. It sounds very sad, but the majority of these masks are not good. We'll still highlight some good ones, but I don't want you to think that a lot of these are going to be very good. We'll break down the good ones, but we'll talk about conceptually why these opal mask styles are not very good to farm, even if you do get one. Firstly, obviously, most of the opal things are just generally not worth a lot of money. So yes, obviously some of these are weapons as well as the style pages, but you're just not going to be getting a lot of investment back on farming opal pages. You can see the Swarm Mother's mask is only worth 100,000 gold. So if you're going to sit and farm a dungeon and only get 100,000 gold, if you're lucky to get one, mind you, you're probably better off sitting and farming and getting the actual associated Undaunted reward boxes from somewhere else that either A, you're getting a really good set from that you want, or B, that you're doing really quickly like Fungal Grotto 1. Now, this is to say, though, that there are some exceptions to the rule. But this is just conceptually why it's not worth it going through every single one of these. Now we can talk about the exceptions to the rule and why you may want to focus on those. The first one is going to be the new thing. Now, the new thing generally has the most value of stuff because it's new. Nobody has it from yesteryears. Now, Opal pages are going to be slightly different than their counterparts below. So we got the Opal Monster Mask, we got the normal Monster Mask. I'm sorry that this is going to be a little bit confusing, but again, it is written on screen if it helps, and I will link this guide below so it's easier to understand. But so what you need to do is complete the dungeon on Veteran Hard Mode to get the Opal versions of these masks. Now, thankfully, majority of these are hot garbage, and they're also from easy dungeons. So Dire Frost Keep, Imperial City Prison, Elden Hollow 2, Spindle Clutch 1, Cradle of Shadow, Darkshade Caverns 1. They're not the hardest dungeons in the world. Yes, they're not easy. Some of them, Imperial City Prison can be very annoying. Dire Frost Keep could be slightly annoying. Cradle of Shadows on hard mode could be slightly annoying. They're not your skill color peaks at least. But if you do want to have a chance to drop these, you will have to complete them on Veteran Hard Mode. So if you want to do that, you have the ability to do that. Wayrest Sewers is probably one of the better ones to do it. Ironically, too, you can also have a chance to get the other version of that mask from Wayrest Sewers 2. So you actually are rolling essentially for 2. This one, though, doesn't have to be completed on hard mode, but you have a higher chance to get it if you've previously completed it on hard mode. It's a bit weird. So basically how it works, if you previously completed it and achieved the achievement for hard mode clears, then you have a higher chance to get the mask, but you don't have to farm it every single time on that hard mode. My cat has decided to join us and give us some recommendations for some of these to farm here. So we'll take her we'll take her advice here, and we'll see which of these bad mammoth jammas are worth going out and getting. The first one is Earth Gore from Bloodroot Forge. Now, this is a decent farm. I will tell you that the hard mode is a bit annoying, but because this is a normal Monster Mask outfit style, you don't have to farm it every single time on hard mode, just Veteran, to have the maximum chance to get it to drop. This one is going to be one that is, worth a good chunk of money, but it does not have an Opal counterpart, meaning that you are only rolling for that one piece. Next, though, is Veildrith from Cradle of Shadows. Now, Cradle of Shadows, you'll note, has 2 potential drops from it, meaning that you actually have the ability to get 2 Monster Mask styles. All you will need to do, again, if you want to roll for both, is farm it on Veteran Hard Mode every single time. But if you've previously done it on hard mode, then all you need to do is do it just the one time to have the maximum odds for the normal mask versus the Opal one. The Opal one definitely has a decent amount of value to it, but I will warn you that these prices will go down. But because you are rolling for 2 of them and both of them have a good value to them, it's at least worth considering doing. But again, if you want the guaranteed odds of money, Fungal Grotto 1, it's just going to be sitting and talking to you like the Green Goblin mask. It's like, just farm me instead. You don't have to do any hard content. You could just farm me, Fungal Grotto 1. And honestly, those are really the only ones that jumped out at me as being decent. So I actually searched and went by descending order, these actual masks and their associated shoulders, which we'll talk next about the shoulders. But nothing really jumped out at me besides the one that we highlighted. I mean, these are PC prices. These are like the clickbait prices that people put in their thumbnails. If you're a console player, these are even worse. So to me, these are ones that I definitely think can be avoided when it comes to farming. I do think, obviously, the ones that we talked about are certainly okay, and I understand there are going to be people who definitely want to have more of a challenge during this event, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you got to understand the majority of these mask outfits have been out for a super long period of time. Majority of players have them, and none of them are really any of the chase items that we hope to see be able to be farmed throughout the normal months. So none of these normal masks are really sought after. Besides the new one, I mean, even the Opal ones, none of these are super crazy, but some of the shoulders actually are pretty good. Let's talk about the shoulders, because this will be the time period, if you're a gambling addict, to roll for monster style shoulders, because if you talk to these 3 individuals, they're going to have an assortment of those shoulders, and some of these shoulders actually sell for a good chunk of money. So obviously you can use the ESO price checker. The majority of them are going to drop from Urgalak. Now, the reason from that is that Urgalak drops all of the DLC monster styles. Therefore, she's going to be the one that's going to be the most sought after. Yes, you could certainly roll your Undaunted Keys for some of the other ones, but I definitely think that Urgalak is going to be better because Earthgore, Lord Warden, Veildrith, Opal, Earthgore, Shoulder, they just have better value. unfortunately. So it is one that I definitely think is worth doing. But it's definitely also worth considering saving your Undaunted Keys and only getting things that you think are curated. If you're a new player, you don't need to waste your Undaunted Keys on this unless you plan to farm this event hard, or if you're a new returning player who's pretty good about doing those easy Undaunted pledges, just to make sure that you're not like me and you gamble your Undaunted Keys until and then you constantly have 0 of them. And then when a new set comes out, you're like, ah, shit, you know, I gotta go get these again. So it kind of depends on your play style a little bit, but if you do like to gamble, all you need to know is that you can buy them outright for Undaunted Keys. You could see here their cost, or you see this bad boy. You can get the actually you can't see it because it's not there. Hang on, let's switch our view back here. If you ever want to be a true gambler, this is what you do with all your Undaunted Keys. This is what you do right here, ladies and gentlemen. You go all the way to the top and you buy the mystery coffer, because the mystery coffer has a chance to drop anything that's currently in the vendor, which means that all of these monster sets are able to be dropped. They're not curated, but you have a chance to get the mercenary motif, chapter, jewelry, harmony traits, equipment, ornate stuff that you can sell. And during the event, you'll be able to get all of these bad mamma jammas as well. So definitely worth considering, in my opinion, for that time period. Some other just kind of miscellaneous things. Obviously, if you want to get the Law of Juliana's Dwarven Spider Mount, this is going to be something that you buy with your fragments. Fragments during this event are really not super crazy, but it is important to note that if you do desperately want to get some of the Harvester weapon styles, you can buy them for 5 event tickets. I would just encourage you to buy them. Never, ever, ever buy a companion commendation. If you do that, I will slap you with a pool noodle. I don't have a pool noodle on me, but I do have this thing that I used to roll out my back. So I'll slap you with that. Never buy those. They're worthless. Literally, you're spending event tickets and not do a single quest. Don't do that. Even if you're my friend Travis who hates quests, you don't have to do that. And then obviously during this event, we'll see a return to our Indrakes. We'll see a return to Phyllis, who have some extra stuff for us this year, but generally it's going to be all of the same plain Jane stuff for us. But everyone, thank you guys so much again for watching. We're going to do a quick TLDR here. So if you're a brand new player, your best bet, Fungal Grotto 1, baby. You don't have to be any level. It's a normal dungeon. If you are looking for rewards, again, if you want to check out yesterday's video, there's a lot of really good sets that are dungeon sets that you may want to have for PvE content, solo content, PvP content, etc. That's a different story. That's a different video, different concept. But if you're just looking for rewards, Fungal Grotto 1 on repeat will get you what you need. If you do want to consider rolling your Undaunted Keys, Urglak is going to be the place to be, especially because they're going to be giving you random monster style shoulders, as well as just monster sets for shoulders that you can then use, complete in your sticker book. It's going to be a good time for you. Some of these are going to be real juicer magoosers. If you do want to farm the associated monster masks, I definitely would just caution you that I don't think it's as good as people hype it up to be. I know that obviously it can be fun to do harder dungeons during this time period. I would just encourage you, you could always do the harder pledges for 8 Undaunted Keys, because obviously I just like to do easy pledges, get them all done across multiple characters, get the best bang for my buck. Sometimes I'm limited on time and it's just nice to just crank through a bunch of dungeons really quickly and get those rewards. But if you cannot be dissuaded, Wayrest Sewers 2 to get the brand new Scourge Harvester Opal Mask on hard mode is definitely going to be, I think, the one to do during this event. But also if you're interested in doing ones like Bloodroot Forge's Earthgore to get the normal monster mask, so you don't have to do that one on veteran hard mode because there is no Opal one dropping during this event. But some other ones that you could do is Veildrith if you do want to do Cradle of Shadows on hard mode. I don't think Veildrith's Cradle of Shadows hard mode is super bad. I was able to complete it with my thumbless friends. I think it only took us 2 attempts and we didn't even know what we were doing. So if you read a written guide, from one of the written guide creators online, you can usually get an idea of the mechanics and you will be hunky-dory good to go. So those are kind of things that I would focus on. Your best bet is, again, focus on your goals. Undaunted Keys, how you get them, you could get them through reward boxes by doing a bunch of Fungal Grotto 1. You could do a bunch of characters, farming easy pledges. That's always a good one to do. Those are the 2 things that I would find essential. If you want to go with rewards, farming dungeons that either A, you want the dungeon sets from, so check out yesterday's video. B, just ones that give you a bunch of reward boxes, which we talked about. Or C, looking at the specific dungeons that I just mentioned. And then obviously too, you can roll your Undaunted Keys to get these bad boys as well. And you can also get a mount by your event tickets, but all you need to do to get your event tickets is literally just complete any dungeon, you get your event tickets. So that part's the easiest part of the entire event. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments below. We have already done a general overview guide, we've done a specific set dungeon guide, and we've done this video for the best farms during this event. If you have additional questions, you can drop them in the below. You can message me on Discord, which is also linked below. Let me know. I'll catch you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of the day. We're doing our quick 3 giveaway drawings though. All you need to do to enter is be subscribed, leave a like and a comment on the video, and look for hidden word to be flashed upon the screen. We do 1 hidden word per month. Sorry, we're trying to get this outro to be very quick here so we keep this video from being too long. So I'll catch you later. Bye guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jakeclips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.